Hi, my name is Jo Stenjewit. I'm the Design Director of Mazda Motor Europe, and I'm happy today to give you a brief introduction of the design of the MX-30, our very first full electric vehicle. Of course, the design of the MX-30 is based on our design philosophy, which we call Corridor. And for the MX-30, we wanted to explore the boundaries of Corridor, and therefore we call the design concept of the MX-30 human modern. So a very modern, a very pure expression, but with a human touch and a link to the lifestyle of our customers. If you look at the basic design of the car, you will see the bottom area is dark, SUV-like, and it will protect your car in the city environment. Then you have on top, of course, beautifully honed surfaces of our bodywork. And then we have a very lightweight glass house on top with a coupe-like feeling, but don't worry, it has ample space on the inside. Going to the front, you can see the typical Mazda integration of headlamp and grille. But for the MX-30, we wanted them to have a more sympathetic and more friendly expression. So we reduced the size of the three-dimensional grille. And through LED technology, we were able to reduce the size of the headlamps as well. Talking about lamps, if you look at the rear lamps, you will see an identical light design with a circular element and a horizontal element, so that when you follow the MX-30 at night, you will recognize it as a true Mazda. Let me open the freestyle door so you can see my favorite view into the car. As you can see, with the doors open, you have an unrestricted view into the interior. Unrestricted because there is no fixed B-pillar. And it also allows you to see what we mean with our interior design philosophy, which we call Ma. And Ma is a Japanese word, which you can roughly translate as a pure, positive, empty space. So we always start from this pure architecture for the interior. And what we then did is add all the driver elements in the perfectly ergonomical position. So you have the cockpit, you have the center display, and the center console. As you can see, the center console has this floating image that was possible because of the EV platform. And also underneath, you can see we managed to create extra storage space. The freestyle doors also allowed us to create a sofa-like rear bench, a bit like a sofa at home, to emphasize this inviting feeling that we wanted for the interior. We will offer the car in two interior themes. First of all, the modern confidence that you can see here, combining the light gray with the white material. But we'll also have a theme called Industrial Vintage, which combines a dark gray seat material with a leather-like dark brown material. Now, Mazda is known for really beautiful interiors and beautiful materials, and of course, with the MX-30, we continue to do this, but we took it one step further and we developed, in line with the ecological image of the car, some really beautiful ecological materials. One of them is the 100% recycled PET material in the door panel. That's the light gray material here. It sounds hard and technical, but actually it has a beautiful texture and a soft touch. And then secondly, and that's my favorite, is the fact that we introduced cork into the interior of the MX-30 under the center console, but also in the door grip. And with the cork, we're introducing, of course, a functional element in the center console, but also we're bringing the nature into the car because we're using real cork, and you can actually still feel the texture of the cork. And then last but not least, with the cork, we're actually introducing the history of our company into the car, because as you might know, 100 years ago, we started Mazda as a cork manufacturing company. For me, the combination of our Ma interior design philosophy and the creation of these really beautiful ecological materials is why I love this interior so much.
Mazda committed itself to the joy of driving. We call it Jinba Itai, a Japanese term which expresses the unity between horse and rider. For us, it's more the harmonious relationship between car and driver. We want to deliver our unique joy of driving, but now with an electric powertrain. We have decided to use a 35.5 kilowatt-hours battery. With this lighter weight of the battery, we support the agility of the vehicle. And of course, with a lighter vehicle, we have less electricity consumption for driving. With this 35.5 kilowatt-hours battery, we are sure many customers can enjoy their daily mobility with 200 kilometers range on a single charge. Our electric vehicle system and its battery is fully protected by a double safety system. This consists of a very strong protective structure and an automatic high voltage shut-off mechanism. An overall electrical control system instantly cuts off the high voltage system as soon as abnormalities are detected. Physically, our battery pack is well integrated into the floor frame, consisting of high-strength material, and by this it is well protected. This additional frame gives the vehicle a superb ruggedness and supports the agile behavior of the vehicle, as well as giving additional protection to the passengers. Our Mazda MX-30 electric vehicle comes with two charging options: the standard AC power charging and the rapid DC power charging. We can charge the vehicle to 100% in around 4.5 hours using the AC standard charging. But we can charge about 80% within 40 minutes using the rapid DC power charging. Charging itself is made easy. The charging port is located at the rear end of the vehicle, and the necessary charging cables can be stored in the trunk. They are delivered with two different connectors for standard and CCS high-speed charging. On this connector we can also see the charging status, similar to the vehicle displays inside of the vehicle and on our My Mazda app on our smartphone. Hello, my name is Christian Schulze. I'm working in the European R&D Center of Mazda near Frankfurt in Germany. Another special feature of our MX-30 electric vehicle are the freestyle doors, which a little bit looks like a coupe, but it gives you a lot of flexibility and openness in space, which I would like to demonstrate to you right now. The front door opens like a normal door. However, the rear door has no outside grip. This is here. And it allows us to make a very ample and great opening of the entire side of the vehicle. And if you have small kids, you will really enjoy that placing the kids inside of the child seat as well as taking them outside is really made super easy. So this car gives you a lot of comfort and also easiness to use. For example, when you have luggage which you simply want to place on the rear seats. There is a lot of space and nothing is in your way. But as we have no visible B-pillar, does not mean we don't have the safety that a B-pillar normally gives us to side impact. It is integrated in the door structure and delivers with its high-strength steel core and integrated shock-absorbing mechanisms all the safety we need from a vehicle like this. Aside of this, of course, the interior of our vehicle is made for ultimate comfort for front and rear side passengers. The rear seat is a little bit elevated compared to the front and made in a sofa style, giving us maximum comfort and visibility through the big windows all around. Of course, when we open the door, we have to open the front door first and then the rear door. When we close, we do the opposite way. And this has also a very positive effect on the safety if you have bigger kids. You can control by the closure and opening of the front doors whether the rear doors can be opened. And you can avoid that your kids run directly into the traffic because you cannot control the doors. We also provide special charging devices for inside of the vehicle. We have introduced a charger which can charge at 220 volt AC power up to 150 watt devices which you might like to carry with you. For the smaller items, we have two USB sockets in the front and a 12-volt DC socket, so that all your needs can be satisfied.
Hello, my name is Frederik Hartnick. I'm working as manager in the European R&D Center of Mazda, and I'm leading the product development of craftsmanship and ergonomics, of driver assist systems and of HMI. There's a number of interactive technologies in the new Mazda MX-30 which makes the life of a driver and passenger more easy. The MX-30 is not only offering the latest Mazda Connect device, but also offering connected service which are specifically designed for an electric vehicle. And that's, I think, another perfect example of Mazda's human centricity. In the meter cluster, you will find a 7-inch TFT LCD display in the center, and here the driver can pick up all important information just by one look. In addition, we have an 8.8-inch center display, which can be operated by our famous multi-commander. And here in this system, you can operate the vehicle settings, the navigation input or the audio system, or in addition, the standard-equipped Android Auto Apple CarPlay via USB connection with the smartphone. And why is it so important to have the center display and the multi-commander together in one system? The reason why is we have a really high and frontward oriented position of the center display. And this makes it really easy for me when I have my eyes on the road to pick up information in a really short time. In addition to this, I can easily operate the multi-commander while I maintain in my ideal driving position. Thanks to wireless connection between Mazda and vehicles, we are offering services tailored for each driver. And the MX-30 offers a 24/7 customer support for many different situations. In front of this really beautiful floating center console, we have a 7-inch touch display. And in the touch display, we have two different functions integrated. The first one is that we have a really nice and refined welcome mode after you open the door. And the second one is after you switch the ignition on, you will see here the climate operation panel. Let me explain the operation of the climate control panel. And you can operate the temperature setting by one single tap. And by this single tap, you increase the temperature by 0.5 degree or decrease it. And by a swipe, you will increase the temperature by 3 degree up or down. You will always get an acoustical feedback, and by this, you always understand that this action is completed. Around the touch display, you will find push buttons. And the reason why we implemented these push buttons is, on one hand, that by this, you are able to operate the system in the winter season with gloves on. And in addition to this, it allows you, after a short time of experience with the MX-30, to operate it by blind operation.
Mazda committed itself to the joy of driving. We call it Jimba-Itai, a Japanese term which expresses the unity between horse and rider. For us, it's more the harmonious relationship between car and driver. The driver should feel the unity to his car and enjoy a safe and confident driving. To achieve this specific Mazda feeling, we have different solutions. The vehicle structure, for example, is extraordinarily stiff. And with a stiff body, we have very fast response to any input which comes from accelerating, braking or steering, because the body transfers the forces much quicker. And with this quick response, it delivers the driver a very agile and very joyful driving. Another solution is our electric motor pedal. Together with the highly responsive electric motor, the MX-30 delivers a very intuitive and natural drive. The response delay between the driver input and the vehicle reaction is much shorter compared to a gasoline or diesel vehicle. Another important factor is sound. We use sound in conventional vehicles to understand intuitively the level of torque which an engine is producing. But for an electric vehicle, there is not much motor sound. So that's why we developed a sound system which gives us, through our audio system, a very good feedback about the torque which is delivered by our powertrain. And by this, the driver is able to understand the speed of his vehicle intuitively. The last factor is our eGVC+. This is a specific technology which we have developed for an electric vehicle, which enhances our agility and stability when cornering the vehicle. We use the modulation of the motor torque to create different wheel loads at the front and rear wheels. And by this we achieve that the vehicle easily turns into a curve and is more stable when it gets out of the curve. This gives the driver a very confined ride, and this function is available only on Mazda cars. eSky Active, that is the name of our brand new electric powertrain at Mazda, equipped with a lithium-ion battery and an electric motor that we use now for our first full electric vehicle, the MX-30. As we expect from every Mazda driving experience, we want to deliver our unique joy of driving, but now with an electric powertrain. In our sustainable Zoom 2030 technology development vision, we have committed ourselves to bring up a beautiful Earth and to enrich people's lives as well as society. In order to meet our CO2 reduction targets, Mazda is using a multi-solution approach that enables us to offer the right power source in the right place and considering its fitness to the market, regional situation, as well as the energy mix available. Furthermore, when it comes to electric vehicles and their batteries, we have the understanding that it's important to reduce the CO2 emissions over the entire product life cycle. Simply, the well-to-wheel concept includes the CO2 emissions from preparing and refining the fuels, as well as the CO2 emissions from electricity production, and finally the CO2 emissions from driving a vehicle. Life cycle assessment is a technique to measure the overall product environmental impact it gives, from producing the raw materials, use of the vehicle, until its end-of-life disposal. Following this approach, we see that the electric vehicle with its battery carries a very big CO2 backpack. This derives from the creation of raw materials and battery production. So it is wise, in order to limit the overall lifetime CO2 emissions of an electric vehicle, to use sustainable electricity derived from water or wind power for the propulsion of the vehicle. We at Mazda have therefore decided to use a 35.5 kWh battery, which carries a smaller CO2 backpack. And smaller means also lighter. With this lighter weight of the battery, we support the agility of the vehicle, and of course, with a lighter vehicle, we have less electricity consumption for driving. With this 35.5 kWh battery, we are sure many customers can enjoy their daily mobility with 200 kilometers range on a single charge.